All right. This is really tough. I'm bronze 1 on the ladder in this game, and I'm currently, these next matches are gonna be placement matches for getting into the silver rankings. It's a big deal. For those of you that are wondering why I currently have Warhammer loaded up and not Magic, Magic Online is taking an extended nap time this morning. And WotC, in their infinite wisdom, also has Arena down for extended downtime simultaneously. How do I have so much dust? Oh, I put $100 into the game. I bought their biggest pack of gems or crystals or whatever this thing is called. This is some kind of weird Beat Monday, right? It's wacky Wednesday, where Magic Online decided we're not going to play it. I was just going to sit and play some on my tablet, and I was just like, let's stream it a little bit. This game's been fun. It's become my go-to mobile game. The novelty of Hearthstone kind of wore off, and this game's firmly picked up and become what I've been playing, like when I'm at the gym, or like want something to wind down before I go to sleep at night. Morning, Illid. Do I got anyone else to play with in person? I do not. I actually don't have, I don't even think I have full decks at this point in person. Once I settle on decks that I really like on the digital app, I'll probably pick up physical cards for them. I've got a bunch of piecemeal stuff. I had like the starter decks plus like 30 packs. So. Yeah, the Blue-Red Tempo deck is a good time. I didn't think we'd get Warhammer Wednesday so early today. What's going on? What's going on, Uprick? Morning. So for those of you that haven't seen this game before, this game is played on 4 different lanes. So the board is kind of contained into this space nicely, so there doesn't get quite as much stuff going on simultaneously on a board as like with Magic. But it's also it also had some strategy being forced into this board state because a lot of the cards have things that care about the positioning of units, both on your side and your opponent's side. Yeah, this is ranked. My placement matches did not go well, so I went into like bronze something, and these are my first of my placement matches to bump up into silver. So the resource system in this game is one I actually really like. It's not, you don't have resources in your deck, and there's no resource variance. So how the resources in this game work is each turn you get to do 2 things. You can either play 2 cards, draw 2 cards, or do one of each. Yeah. So actually, this card is actually one that cares about the strategy of placing heroes. So this card does 3 damage to my opponent, and then if the hero across from mine costs less points, so you can see my hero on the 4th lane costs 5, and their hero on the 4th lane costs 2, I get to make them take a card from their hand and shuffle it back into their deck. So one of the things you want to do when you're positioning with this deck at the start is you want to make sure that your one or both of our 2 5-cost champions here end up across from champions that cost less than them. What happened to the gym? I actually ended up going to the gym late last night. I went at like 8 o'clock. I'm still a little bit sore. I might go over and do some cardio this morning, but I was going to play this for a little bit for a hot second, so I figured I might as well stream it. I don't know if it's going to be a long stream, maybe just an hour or so. So this particular deck that I'm playing, something that's good to know about this game is 35 health is the maximum health that you can have. You can't heal above that. And my little dorks here, their second quests or third quests here require you to heal. So I can't, it's currently 9 a.m. cornfield time, so I can't actually trigger these healing quests because I'm not actually missing health. The champions that you play in this game kind of determine your starting health here. So when I pop up all these extra information, you see the red numbers on all these guys. So like my opponent started with 29 health because they have, No, sorry, they started with 32 because they have 2+1s. I dealt 3 to them already. And then I actually start at 35 because I have a bunch of pluses. Lord Lemur, thank you for the 2-month resub there. I appreciate it. Welcome. So how this game works is when you put units and stuff like that into play, they kind of tick through their corners every single turn. So this guy has 2 blank corners to start, so it doesn't do anything for the first 2 turns when you play it or the turn after. But then eventually when it gets to its 3rd corner, it does 3 damage. And then when it gets to its 4th corner, it does 4 damage. One of the things that you want to manage when you're playing this game is that you want to be working through what are called your quests in the corners of your guys here. So the quests basically dictate what you want to play on these things to like get the most potential value out of them. This game has a lot going on for such a contained board state. I've really been enjoying it. So I'm going to go ahead and play my Feasting Bargeist here. And this, you'll see, this unit quest will get completed in the corner here. So my next quest is a healing one. And this guy heals me 1 on his 1st and 2nd corner. And then on his 3rd corner, he draws me 2 cards. You'll note I didn't actually heal because, again, I maxed at 35. But I wanted to go ahead and play my unit out here, because playing my unit out here allowed me to advance this quest, and I only get 2 actions per turn. How do you rate the tutorial in the client? It's average. I don't know. I wouldn't say that it's fantastic, but it's functional. When you install it, it definitely walks you through the basics of the game. I also have a how to play video. If you watch my how to play video and then play the tutorial, you should be good to go. So you can see here when this healed me on its 2nd corner, it completed this quest here. And then this last one is play an ability. So I'm actually just going to be able to go ahead and Cursed Strike here, which this could affect one of my opponent's units that's across from me. But instead, I'm just going to play it here where there's no unit because I want to complete this last quest. And this flips up. That's kind of a medium blessing. So the cards underneath these things are things that we put into my deck. So when you build your deck, you pick the 30 cards in your deck, your 4 champions and your 4 blessings. But then when we're playing the actual game, I don't get to know which blessings go under which champion. So like now that I flipped up one of my blessings here, I can kind of know that, okay, these are one of my other 3s. You can kind of make percentage plays knowing like what you're likely to get as you kind of narrow them down, but you're not guaranteed to know. That flip search res kit. So this card, some blessings do different things. Like this one has a passive effect where it just sits in play until I actually go to use it. So this card, I can use one of my 2 actions for the turn to deal damage to my opponent and gain health equal to its current corner. So the first corner deals 3, gain 3s. The second corner deals 2, gain 2, etc., etc. So I can use this 3 times. This guy will rotate to its last corner here, which draws me 2 cards. And then you'll notice this card didn't rotate. So the corner on this one is what's called clunky. It's got these, it's not a circle. It's got its corner symbol has corners on it, which means it stays how it is until a certain condition is met. So this hangs out and stays exactly how it is until I activate it, basically. And while this sits here, it reduces damage from my opponent's spells, which is nice to have this in front of a wizard. Now I have to decide what I want to do here. So again, kind of want to start advancing quests I have on other units. So I'm going to go ahead and Cursed Strike here. Again, not to get value on manipulating their units at all, but just to go ahead and trigger this damage quest. And then I can go ahead and play out this other Feasting Bargeist here, which will complete playing a unit quest and heal me. And then next turn, this unit will turn and heal me again, which will complete the next quest, which means this guy will almost be done to flipping up his blessing too. So this deck that I'm playing at the moment is what's called a quick quest deck. So it kind of is built in a way to advance through its quests very quickly. So it's a little bit more of an aggressive deck. Actually, this is perfect for us here. So this is a unit that they had to discard a card when they played it, and then it does 2 and then 4. And the reason why this is perfect here is this takes time to kind of get going, and I have an ability in my hand here called Devour, which is going to let me remove their unit here. And not only do I get to remove their unit that made them discard a card, but I also get to complete the last quest on my guy here to flip this blessing up. So So that blessing deals 4 damage to my opponent. If they had cards in their hand, it would make them discard cards. So a little unfortunate that they didn't have cards in their hand when we flipped that up. Yeah, there's a paper version of this game. In fact, the paper digital crossover in this game is like really excellent. So when you buy paper cards for this game, you get to scan the same cards that you bought in paper into the digital game. So you have the same cards in digital and paper. So they have an activated ability on this they can use once per game that lets them return a bunch of what are called risen units. So a specific type, basically creature type from their discard pile to their hand. They get to pick up 4 of them. So very powerful effect on this champion. And you can see the more powerful a champion is, the more points they cost. So like my opponent's champion that had that basically draw 4 ability stapled onto it, it cost them 15 points in their lineup. So, I want to try and start progressing through these quests, which means I need another unit that can heal me. I don't currently have anything that can heal me, so I think I'm going to go ahead and activate this here, which deals 3 to my opponent and gains me 3 health. And it triggers the healing quest here. We play Blood Boots or Bridges. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess I should say, this game is designed well, and there aren't mechanics like that make games that make a bunch of non-games. And we drew another Feasting Vargeist here, which is awesome because this unit both satisfies the play unit quest and the heal me quest the following turn here. There's no hand size limit in this game. However, there are cards that you can play in your decks that like punish your opponent for having too many cards in their hand. The Dormant Blessing is very good. That's true. That is true. So I'm going to go ahead and play my Feasting Vargeist out here on lane 2. This is going to complete the first 2 quests here. And then, I'm just going to go ahead and play this here. So this card basically takes a little bit to get going. It does nothing the turn you play it, but then the second turn it does 1, then it does 2, then it does 3. So this does 6 total points of damage over the course of 4 turns. I mean, like, there's definitely broken and, like, things that feel powerful to do, but, like, it's possible for a card or an effect to, like, be powerful without, like, being Blood Moon and locking people out of the game, right? So, like, there's a difference between those things in my mind. So I have 1 card left here. Card advantage is a really big thing in this game, and one of the reasons for that is you don't draw a card every single turn in this game. You have to spend one of your 2 actions that you're taking to draw a card. So managing the number of cards you have access to is kind of one of the resources that you need to be manipulating. Night Lives Matter. Thank you for the 4-month resubscription there. I appreciate that. Welcome back. So these guys have a damage and then a unit quest here. I think I kind of just want to draw 2 cards, so that way I can try and find something to complete these damage quests quickly. Although I guess I'm drawing 2 cards here next turn. Yeah, I'm just going to pick some cards up. Well, I'm pretty far ahead in this game at this point, because you can see, not only am I up on health total on my opponent, but I also, like, have a bunch of cards in my hand. And again, because you don't get a card in your hand every single turn as a free draw, having cards in my hand basically means I'm up actions in the long time. Yeah, I agree, Python. TCG nerds basically just like to complain, believe it or not. Alright, sweet. So, I get to go ahead and Cursed Strike, or Frightful Strike here to finish my damage quest off. Just going to deal 3 to them. And then I'm going to get to play out. So, this last corner requires a specific type of unit, what's called a Mordant unit with the little fangs. So I'm going to go ahead and play my Mordant unit here to flip this quest up. Yeah, Prime's really sweet. So this blessing is one that ticks through for 3 turns, and it makes all of my opponent's units dormant. So basically, any non-spells, any minions my opponent plays out, any minions my opponent plays out aren't going to rotate. You can see they put some sleepy text over him. And I'm like I said, we were far ahead earlier. We're still pretty far ahead here. So, you get timeout in this new world. I got you, mate. So again, this is just hanging out, sleepy times. So this is going to rotate off because it doesn't have another quarter. So these each do 2 and then 3. And then I think I'm just going to go ahead and play out my Murderous Vargeist here, which does 2 right off the bat. And then I'm going to finally start activating this blessing, just close the game out. Actually, that's just lethal, right? It does 2, and then this does 3. I'm not sure on the Vorthos behind that Pythron, like what dictates a Risen. Wait, versus a Mordred. I think, I think the Risens are like skeletons, and the Mordrents are like meaty. Like the Mordrents have like muscles and stuff on them, right? I think that's the difference. All right, so I've won my first of 5 placement matches. I need to win 2 of the next 4 to advance into the silver division. This is very serious business, chat. Very, very competitive. How's everyone doing? Everyone's having a good Wednesday. Hanging out, playing some other card games while Motor takes nappy time. Yeah. So actually, I didn't mention that yet today. They don't have an official PC client right now. You can see it actually says free for personal use in the corner of my hand there because I'm actually playing using an Android emulator on my computer. So this game is free to play if you would like it to be on both Android and iOS. You can find it on their stores, whatever their stores are called. And then it also has a paper component as well. At some point, they're going to have a official PC release, but that's not. I don't know when that. What I mean, I'm using something called Jenny Motion at the moment. I've also heard something called BlueStacks and Nox are things that are worth doing. So again, I kind of want to, when I'm positioning my champions, and with this deck, I want to be paying attention to how much my opponent's champions cost here. So they've played out a 5 cost on lane 1 and a 2 cost on lane 3. So I'm going to want to make sure that my 5 cost guy here ends up across from their 2 cost guy. And again, the reason for that is I have those frightful strikes in my deck, which if my champion costs more than theirs, I get to take a card out of their hand when I play it. This is not on Steam. This is currently only on Android, iOS, and paper. It's a 4. So this lane here on lane 3 is the only lane I can get full value on Frightful Strike because I have, otherwise all my guys are less than theirs. You'll notice again, health total discrepancy. One of the things this deck is good at is it starts with the full 35 health. So we had an 8-point health lead on the opponent, which is valuable in this game. The health total difference is often very meaningful. And because all of my quests kind of care about being able to heal for the most part, I'm actually just going to go ahead and draw 2 cards here because I kind of have to wait until my opponent pokes me for some damage before I can start advancing my quests because I can't actually heal if I'm at 35 because that's the max. Yeah, I did my best with what I had. I wanted to maximize the amount of real estate that the actual game got on the screen. And when you play this on mobile, and it probably looks like this, like when I play on my tablet, it actually plays vertically as opposed to most games that play in landscape mode. So one thing you'll notice on my opponent's side of the table, you'll notice all 4 of my guys have this red symbol in front of them. That means they're able to play out units. Some of my opponents have spellcasters on their side of the board. So blue guards with the blue border can play spells. Cards without the blue border can only play units. So I have a lot of cards in my hand at this point. So I think I'm actually just going to go ahead and Cursed Strike here. Just because, again, I can only do 2 things per turn. So I kind of want to do this sooner rather than later. So that way I don't just like have a bunch of actions, a bunch of cards stacking up in my hand. Because one of the ways you can actually get behind in this game is if you just sit here and draw cards, don't actually play anything out. Your opponent just like gets very far ahead. So this will deal 7 damage to me next turn, which is like actually kind of okay for me because then I can start like playing out a bunch of cards that heal me. Because I think again here, I'm actually just going to go ahead and pass the turn again. I guess I could play out the Mortis engine because this takes 2 turns to tick through anyways. I guess that doesn't seem completely unreasonable. Because I kind of want to save this Cursed Strike to finish this. Nah, I'm going to draw 2. The downtimes today are adding guilds to Magic Online and Arena. So this is going to heal them for 3, and this will dome me for 7, so I can finally start playing out my cards that heal me. One of the other things you want to watch when you're playing this game is you want to be paying attention to what your opponent's cards care about doing when you are playing your things out. We won't have access to guilds cards on Magic Online until after the pre-release events start tomorrow. So this patch is adding them, but we won't actually be able to play with them until they start putting them out. So I noticed paying attention to what my opponent's lanes do. So this my champion on lane 1 and lane 2 are identical, but I actually want to play out my card on lane 1. And the reason for this is if you look here at my opponent's champion, the first quest on their lane 2 champion cares explicitly about removing something on the opponent's removing something. So if I put something on lane 2 here, that gives my opponent the ability to more easily fulfill this removal quest. So you can kind of dictate how your opponent is able to do their quests or not based on where you position your things in the game. The positioning aspect is something I've really enjoyed in this game because it keeps the board state gets to be compact, but there's still a lot of depth in how you're positioning your things based on not only what they're doing, but also trying to maximize what your things are doing. Yeah, definitely. Shoot. So this will deal 1, and then it heals me 1, which completes this quest. This will heal me 1, which completes this quest. And then this is actually a really sweet interaction here. So this unit that my opponent has gives them an extra action on their turn. But when I play this Cursed Strike here, I'm going to go ahead and rotate their unit forward. And while I'll still take a point of damage from rotating it forward, what this means is during my opponent's next turn, this card's going to end up rotating off. So I've basically denied my opponent an extra action by rotating their card sooner. Crime in Stereo. Thank you very much for the 4-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome. Oh, does this rotate from moving anything? Yeah, you're super right. Yeah, this is a mobile game that I'm playing via an emulator at the moment. So this card's really annoying. It does 4 extra damage to me if I don't put a unit on this lane. So I think I need to put a unit there even though it's not ideal. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to play a unit here, even though it doesn't complete my quest, because it saves me 4 points of damage. So I think that's a worthwhile exchange. I'm using Jenny Motion to stream this on the computer. One of the things I'm still struggling to evaluate in this game, because the mechanics of it are so different from other card games that I've played, like, you know, like Hex, Eternal, even Hearthstone to a degree, like those games are so similar to Magic that a lot of the skills you have from evaluating game states and stuff like that translate over, whereas this game, it's just so drastically different that I find a lot of those evaluation things don't translate directly, which is another thing that makes the game interesting to me. It's like something new to tag on. I think Throne of Geth, I think if you have everything going well for you, I could see Throne of Geth feeling like a win more card, but I think Throne of Geth being an additional sacrifice outlet for when you can't keep Ravager on the table is a big deal. So that's perfect. So you'll see this guy here, if this rotates next turn, it's going to deal 2 damage to my opponent, which will complete the damage quest here, and that means I need a Mordant unit to finish him off, and I just drew a Mordant unit on that draw. Also, if this gets to rotate through to completion, it's going to draw me 2 more cards next turn, which is nice. That's really annoying. So this removes my unit, which means this one's not going to get to draw cards. I guess even if this doesn't get to draw cards, it's still going to complete my healing quest. That's like kind of a win for me. So we drew 2 cards off of this one. I can actually kind of combo here. So this is gonna remove my thing anyways. So I'm gonna go ahead and Cursed Strike here to get my damage quest in, which will let me rotate their spell forward, which removes my thing. And while it may seem like removing my thing is bad, it actually frees up my spaces here. So I can actually go ahead and like play a Mordant unit out this turn to start flipping up these quests. So this was going to happen next turn regardless. My opponent gets a little bit of an advantage this way because now this will rotate off next turn, so they'll be able to put another spell here, but it lets me flip up my thing this turn, which deals 4 to them and shuffles 2 cards from their hand back into their deck. Yeah, I never actually got into Gwent. I heard some good things about it, and the way things ended up going, I'm kind of glad that I never ended up getting into it. So this guy is almost done on their quest. You notice here I called this deck a quick quest deck, and this is kind of really exemplifying like what I mean by a quick quest deck, because I've completed 2 of my quests already, and they're barely on completing theirs. So this is kind of an interesting decision here. I could Frightful Strike on this lane here, which gets the only card out of their hand discarded, or I could Frightful Strike on this lane here to complete my damage quest. I think I'd actually rather Frightful Strike on this lane here to complete the damage quest, because I have this Mortis engine in my hand, which will complete the second quest, and then next turn I can activate this to heal, and then I'll be able to play an ability out as well. So next turn I'm going to complete my quest on this 4th lane here as well. I don't actually, basically, I don't know, you'd have to Google it. All I know is they're not in a good spot at the moment. And I don't want to give details on something that I don't fully understand. So now they're down to 14 here. So this is going to go ahead and hammer them for 3. And then I'm going to go ahead and play my ability here, which heals me for 1. And then, perfect. So this one is also very powerful. So I want to put, this puts 1 unit from my discard pile back into my deck. And I think I actually just want to put a Variegeist back in. So this one is a clunky one that triggers specifically when I play units out. So it says the positioning on here is in front of it and on either side. So because it's on my 4th lane, this will trigger when I play units here or here. And whenever I play a unit there or there, it deals damage equal to the number in the corner to my opponent, and it shuffles a card from their hand back into their deck. So I need a Mordant unit here in order to finish this last quest up, but at the same time I kind of just want to like power through killing them. So if I play this Mortis engine here, oh, I guess I should have put this here, huh, because it prevents spell damage. Yeah, I should have put this here because it prevents spell damage, but this hits them for 2, and then I'm going to get to hammer this for 1 as well. Yeah, this deck lives up to its quick quest name. Toxic Elitist. Thank you for the 7-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. The deck that I am playing is kind of a mid-range deck that is a quick quest deck. It's a deck that completes its quests very quickly. As you can see here, my opponent has just flipped up their first quest, and I've got 3 done, and I've only got 1 spot left on my last one here. And then they're at 6 already here, so we're going to kill them very quickly. Ooh, oh wait, that's all the way over there. So this prevents damage from things in front of it, but it only prevents on this square and this square here. So these things dealing damage down here are just like free to run wild. Yeah, there's no spells in this deck. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this here, which triggers this and deals 2 damage to my opponent, makes them put a card from their hand back into their deck. You can see that we've kind of run away with this game. Like, so unlike Magic, where the current health total is not really an indicator of who's winning, the current health total in this game is kind of very indicative of where you're at in the game because of how the resource system works. it can it takes a good bit of effort to catch back up. Unless you have, like, the only time a health total discrepancy isn't indicative of who's really winning the game is if the person who has significantly less health has a lot more cards in hand, then it's possible for them to catch back up. But because we have similar number of cards in hand, we're pretty good here. All right, so that's annoying. That buys them a turn. So this card prevents 2 damage from all of my lanes the first turn it's in play, and the next turn it's in play it prevents 1 damage. So I actually just don't do anything here. I don't want to activate this because this will prevent the 2 anyways, so I'll just go ahead and draw 2. So they got me for 7. They got me for 7. My hometown is having trouble finding an exemplar so we can host a paper league. I haven't played in paper, Kino. So they're just dead then, right? I just activate this and they take 2 minus 1 is 1. Oh, I forgot about this card. Oh, this thing's super annoying. Reading their things explains their things. So this guy is super annoying. He has text in here that I forgot about. This says, if you are about to be defeated by a highlighted enemy and you have an ally... Oh, wait, I get to kill them here. No, wait, because this will prevent the damage. Downtime is scheduled to go until 4 hours from now. So, like, attacking in Pokemon, whenever you decide to draw cards. Yeah. So drawing cards ends your turn. So your turn is over when you've either taken 2 actions or when you decide to pass and draw 2 cards. Yeah, it is very, very long. So so they're dead now. So now they don't have any units in play to allow this to save them. So I just get to go ahead and actually I can just play this out to trigger this. The extended downtime is obnoxious. Like, I don't understand what takes them that long. Don't they have test servers to actually test things on? Like, it should literally just be uploading code and clicking turn on when they go to production. All right, so I only have to win 1 of the next 3 to advance into the very prestigious silver ranks. There are cards that get you more actions, that's true. I just, like, the most idiotic thing about the downtime this morning is that, like, they should understand that, like, having Magic be on Twitch is, like, important for people engaged in Magic. And, like, they have 2 Magic clients right now. So why didn't they coordinate the downtime? So, like, Moto downtime and Arena downtime were on different days. Like, the fact that, like, both the clients are down simultaneously is, like, exceptionally dumb. So the vehicle card is a card that I am testing out. This is only like my 5th or 6th game with it. And basically, I wanted more units in my deck that would allow me to basically trigger 2 corners off a single unit. So like, you see here, all 4 of my champions have a play a unit and then heal square. So the vehicle is another card like Feasting Vargeist and like the Mordant that heals that allow me to do both of those things off a single card. So one of the ways you can kind of gain tempo or advantage in this game, because you have the set number of actions every turn, is you kind of want to be trying to get like an action and a half out of every play that you make. And by having 1 card complete multiple quests on your champions, that's the way you kind of gain a little bit of tempo or advantage. So again, I mentioned when you're setting up with this deck, you want to note what the costs are of the champions you're across from. So you'll note here, both of my 5s ended up across from things that cost less than them, a 2 and a 1. So my Frightful Strikes will be powerful on both of these squares, which is nice. I'm going 2nd here. When you go 2nd, you get 1 extra card in your hand. This is perfect, though. I have a Frightful Strike in my opener. So this will get to... Unless they put a unit here and here, I'm going to get to 3 them and then take a card out of their hand. So tactical formation lets them reposition their units here. That's actually kind of annoying here because now this one doesn't have Frightful Strike turned on. That being said, Frightful Strike is still active over here, so let's just go ahead and 3 them and take a card out of their hand. So this guy is powerful, but takes a little while to get going. He does nothing, then he deals 1, heals 1, does nothing, deals 2, heals 2. This guy locks me out of playing champions or units on lane 2 here. So I think I'm going to go ahead and slide the Mordant over here. This champion that they have prevents damage from my units, so he won't deal 1 damage, but he's still going to heal me. And again, I'm not really super interested in the 3 damage. Like, the fact that this is only going to deal 1 damage as it ticks through is fine. I'm more interested in completing the quest here. And this card is really powerful on this champion specifically because this 1 card can complete my first 3 quests. Because the first quest is play a unit, the second one is heal, and then the third one is damage. So this 1 card is going to complete 3 quests on here over the course of 4 turns. Yeah, I am playing it on a mobile VM, Andrew. They don't have a desktop client currently. So the layout is weird because I didn't want the game to be super skinny, basically. So the hand here is actually right under, you can see when I move the mouse down, it's right under my things here, but I blew the hand up so that way the actual game could take up more of my board. So I could play Feasting Vargeist out here, but I would lose out on the value of it healing me the first time, but that's probably worthwhile, honestly. Although, depending on how much damage they deal, I might not get to heal on the second corner either. No, they're going to deal 2. Yeah, I guess this is fine. And this takes a little bit to heal up. So this heals me on the first 2, which this first one here doesn't do anything because I'm already at the max, which is 35. And then next turn, this thing's going to deal 2 to me, so I'll be down to 33. So next turn, this will heal me 1, which will complete the second quest here. And I don't currently have any abilities in my hand, so I'm probably going to have to take a turn or 2 off here to kind of draw into some abilities on here. The opponent's deck actually have a control deck built around this card that they're playing, Celestian Prime, so this is one of the better forms of card selection in this game. It's a champion that basically you can use one of your actions to sleight a hand instead of just drawing a card. Look at the top 2 and take 1. So this will tick and do nothing because it's on an X square. This ticks to 1, and again, its second corner heals me. I don't really have anything super potent to do here. I want to hold on to these units to complete like this last quest here. I also ideally want to start with the unit that heals me here. And this guy locks me out of playing units, right? So I'm just going to take a turn off to draw 2. So this is an ability that I found here, which will be able to finish my last quest over here. But this one explicitly removes the unit that I'm playing it on. So I probably want to wait to play it here until they play a unit out. That does 9 damage to me, yep. Yeah, I agree with that too, Upbreak. The fact that this lets you draw cards in the middle of your turn as opposed to the end of your turn is also very good. The opponents aren't Space Marines. They're just like regular fantasy style dorks. So I guess I'm just sliding this dork out here because again, this is going to complete the first 3 quests on here over the course of several turns. And then I think I'm just drawing a card here for the time being. I guess maybe I should remove this. So this is going to deal 5 more damage to me over the course of the next couple turns. I'm going to take 4 next turn. And I think I'm just going to take the hits. Yeah, I'm just going to take the hits. Just use my health total as a resource here, I think. Save these devours for something scarier. I'm playing a death deck, which is the undead faction. vampires and skeletons and meaty skeletons, kind of. So this guy is going to go ahead and rotate off next turn, which means I'll be able to play another unit out here. This guy heals me for 1 and deals 1, which completes my second quest here. So I'm going to go ahead and play my Mordant unit out here, which is going to flip this quest up. And that quest is sweet. So this is the quest that for basically 3 turns, all of my opponent's units are dormant, which means they basically just don't do anything. Do I want to play this Murderous Vargeist out here to complete that? I think I do. So this guy completes the damage quest, then it's going to tick through, and eventually I'll be able to put the Feasting Vargeist here. Yeah, against a deck like my opponent's that is on all units and no spellcasters, this card's very punishing. Yeah, a lot of the blessings are very powerful cards, which is why you generally want to build your deck in a way that allows you to maximize getting to your blessings as quick as possible. Yeah, if you don't have spellcasters in your deck, the dormant blessing out of the death deck is very, very good. I don't actually have a ton of pressure to apply to my opponent here. This is perfect for us here too, because now that they've played this here, it gives me something to devour, which will allow me to complete the last quest here, which is nice. They get to go ahead and remove this, which completes this. And then this card, so we're going to start snowballing at this point, basically. So this card says that whenever I play a unit on this lane or this lane, they take some damage and they have to discard a card out of their hand. So I'm going to play this here, and they're going to take 2 and shuffle one of the cards from their hand back into their deck. Look at that, Chad. If we win this one, we get up into the silver rank. We're kind of a big deal now. Yeah, they get to choose which card from their hand they shuffle back into their deck. And this is active for 1 more turn here still. They're at 18, but I'm going to be flipping up my next couple of blessings very soon here. So this will deal 2 -1 to them. This will deal 2, which completes my damage quest. This will deal 1. This will deal 1. And then I actually don't really have anything to do here, so I'm just going to go ahead and draw 2. And then next turn, I'm going to get to... Next turn, this will rotate off, this will rotate off, this will rotate off. And then I'll get to play a Mordant unit here, which will complete this quest. And then I'll get to play a Feasting Vargeist here, which will complete the next 2 quests on here eventually. And then I just need an ability to wrap this up. Guilds of Rav pre-release events start tomorrow morning, I believe. So you'll be able to get cards trickling out of there, but you can't actually open booster packs for them until next week, I think. Something stupid like that. You can't just crack packs right away, so getting singles is a giant headache. So I get to do this, which flips up my blessing. And this one deals 4 to them and shuffles 2 cards from their hand back into their deck. And then I'm going to play a unit on this 3rd lane, which will trigger this blessing and shuffle. They have 1 card or 2 left up there. Oh, look, they only have 1 card left. Oh, I can't play a unit here. Oh, no. Oh, no. That's annoying. I wanted to do the thing. Do I just devour this then? That's annoying. I guess I'm going to play the Mortis Engine over here. So we can probably kill them next turn. So there's 12 blessings per faction currently. And you pick 4 from the faction that you put into your deck. So which blessings you want kind of is determined by which other cards you're putting into your deck. So I pick which 4 blessings go into my deck during deck building, but I don't choose which position they're at under my champions during the game. All right, and here's a swing back from my opponent here. So they flipped up their blessing, which deals some damage to me, and it makes my units in these 2 lanes dormant. They're at 4. So next turn, I'm taking... I have 1 card in hand. Next turn, I'm taking 3, 4, 5. No, the only way to win is by reducing their health total to 0. So I'm going to go ahead and devour this here, even though it's rotating off, because I really want to stick my Feasting Vargeist this turn. There aren't any alternative win conditions in this game currently. So all of the win conditions involve reducing your opponent's health total to 0. We might actually lose this. That sucks. We're pretty far ahead for a while here. Maybe I should have removed this last turn and take the last card out of their hand. Yeah, I probably should have done that. Oh yeah, that's true. If your deck is empty and you don't take an action, you lose the game. You have to discard a card or lose the game. Yeah, I'm down to 3 here, and this is doing 2 to me next turn. Oh wait, these guys have tech, so these guys are gonna heal me 2 at the start of next turn, and this is gonna heal me 1, so I'm gonna go up to 6. Yeah, so there's I've got some quick play rules here, but basically the TLDR is the game is played on a board that looks like this with 4 lanes, and your cards that you play out, they kind of rotate through each turn. So like you'll see next turn, all my opponent's cards are all going to rotate, and then they have an effect based on what they're rotating to. So like this card that my opponent has does damage equal to the number in its corner, so it's going to deal 2 damage to me when it rotates. And this card going to deal 2 damage to me when it rotates, and it gets a bonus if the lane across from it is disengaged, which means it doesn't have anything. I assume if you deal so now we're both at 1 here. So if I need my opponent to not find something that deals damage here. If they find something that deals damage, they're actually gonna pick this game up. Which again, why this card is so powerful, because this card lets you grab cards while it's not. Yep, and they find a piercing shot. That was really close. It's really close. Gosh, the pride cometh before the fall. I thought we were really far ahead there. So you would one of the next 2 to get into the silver rank. Yeah, I've liked the gameplay in this game a lot. It's very engaging. It's very different. It has a lot of depth. The lack of resource variance is nice. The variance in this game is the cards you draw, obviously, and then where your blessings are positioned. What do cards leveling mean? So this is one of the awesome... I actually don't have my lights on. I forgot to turn them on this morning. I'm going to turn them on so I can show you a card. So when you play... If you buy paper cards for this game, the paper cards have a unique... You see the little indents around the frame on this card? That is a unique code to every single card that gets printed. And you scan your physical cards into the digital game. And to kind of encourage you to buy physical cards, your physical cards level up in the game to give you extra in-game rewards. So your cards leveling up don't give you a power level bonus, but they do, they give you extra in-game gold. So basically, if you buy paper cards, you get more free stuff in digital. Which is weird. It's almost like you can use your paper card game to encourage people to play digital and vice versa. You don't have to, like, make people choose one or the other. You can tie them all in. Looks like another order deck here. This is different than the person we just played against because their champion lineup is different. The other person didn't have 2 1s. Yeah, the scannable borders, I'm not gonna lie, the scannable borders are the reason I originally checked the game out. I was like, this is awesome technology. And then I started playing, I was like, this game is great. What does this do? When a unit controlled by this champion is removed by my opponent, deal 3 damage to them. So I don't want to remove units on lane 3. Got it? And again, taking note of positioning, my lanes 1 and 4 are both across some champions that cost less from them, which means these Frightful Strikes will get to take a card out of my opponent's hand. And how the positioning works is if it's a red square, it's indicating your opponent's champion. If it is a green square, it's talking about positioning on your side of the board. And you'll notice when I drag this card to the table, I'll show you it highlights what's being pointed where. So when I drag this here, you'll see it lights up red which lane it's going to be checking for its condition. I want to play this on lane 4 here. Do I know a good place to buy physical cards? My Magic sponsor, Cool Stuff Inc. actually has, they had a good number of singles in stock when I bought stuff. I think they had starter decks in stock too, last I checked. Now, one of the rules of this game is one that hasn't come up yet, so I haven't mentioned it, is that you can actually only play 1 copy of the same card per turn. So even though I would love to Frightful Strike a second time on this first lane and get the last card out of their hand here, I actually can't Frightful Strike again because I've already played a Frightful Strike this turn. So, I don't have any units that heal me currently, so I'm just going to go ahead and draw a card, hoping to find one that heals me. And this is a good pickup, because again, this one will complete the first 3 quests on either of these guys. How did you get a lot of the cards online already? So I have a bunch of physical cards that I scanned into the app, and then I bought the largest pack of gems. So it was like $100 or something. I was playing the game enough that I was like, yeah, I've gotten at least $100 worth of entertainment out of this. Let's do it. So I'm going to Frightful Strike on this first lane here now, which is going to take the last card out of their hand, which is great. And then I'm going to go ahead and play my my Freakish Cryptor on this lane here. And again, even though the champions on my side of the board are identical, I'm going to play the Freakish Cryptor on lane 2 rather than lane 3, because my opponent's lane 3 champion is currently on a remove something quest, so I'd rather not put something in this lane for them to be able to remove for free, essentially. And again, if you want to try this Warhammer AOS Champions on the Google Play Store or iOS, it's free to play. They have a little tutorial. You unlock like the free starter decks. And the order starter deck is actually pretty close to, it's like 10 cards short of one of the aggro decks I've been playing on stream. Why did that guy do 4 instead of 2? It's a good question. So his rules text says here, if the opponent has 20 or more health, it does +2 damage. So I'm going for the middle champion here rather than going for one of these outside ones, because this card will complete the first 3 quests on this Mordant champion here, whereas it'll only complete quests 2 and 3 on these side ones. So this one card will complete 3 quests here, but it would only complete 2 quests here and here. Whereas, like, Feasting Vargeist is ideally the card I want to play on either of these, because this completes the first 2 quests and nothing more. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the booster scan cards. So, in addition to scanning your... So the regular cards that you scan and the cards that you, like, buy out of packs and that you play with, you can only have those scanned to 1 account at a time. But they have these generic booster scan cards. I think I have mine accessible. I don't know where mine are. If you look at my... Wait, I think I have a thing. Booster cards. Yeah, so if you click on that link, they have these booster card things, and these can be scanned by any number of people. And if you go and scan a bunch of these things, it will give you free stuff in client. And it gives the person who owns those cards a bonus as well. Look at Past Jeff was prepared, God bless. So this card deals 5 to me. And I don't have any way to remove it, but even if I could remove it, this punishes me for removing things, so I really wouldn't want to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and play my Feasting Vargeist here, which will complete the unit quest and heal me 1. And then next turn, this will tick and then heal the next one. I think I'm just going to go ahead and draw a card here at this point. I don't have anything else I really want to do. If you're going to play, you should scan my cards, though, because I get free stuff when you scan my cards. Yeah, I like this death deck. My placement matches went really bad, and it dropped me in at Bronze 3, and I've played this deck pretty much exclusively to climb up to where I'm at now, playing for Silver. Do you know what the achievement points to? I don't think they've documented that anywhere just yet, so I don't know offhand. So they only have 1 card in their hand here. So I think I actually want to wait to flip this last quest, this last thing up here, because I'd kind of prefer that, they have more cards in their hand when I flip my quests up, because one of my things that flips up is going to take 2 cards out of their hand. So again, while I don't know exactly where that quest is, I can kind of make an intelligent percentage play by waiting to flip these up until they have more cards in their hand, potentially. And again, just exemplifying like the theme of this deck, which is questing quickly. I'm 1 action away from completing quests on these 2 lanes, and my opponent, their most advanced quest is only 2 in. So I've got 2 that are almost finished, and they're like still working through what they have going on. Although if they keep just like playing one thing and drawing one thing, I'm not going to be able to do anything here. A single card can only complete 1 quest for that card in a turn. So even though this would, it plays and then heals, this playing this card out can only complete 1 quest. Kind of helps like prevent snowballing, basically. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and do this, I think. Yeah, I hit the one that takes cards out of their hand, but like they've been playing in a way that like doesn't let me touch their hand anyways, so I think that's fine. Maybe, so the downtime for Magic Online is scheduled to last until 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, and normally I only stream till 3 o'clock Central Time, so I don't know. It depends on when it comes up, basically. I picked up cards last night that I could play 2 decks this morning when it comes back, but I don't actually know when it's going to be back. So, like, if it comes up by, like, noon, maybe, or, like, 11 or so, I will tweet if we change games. So, follow me on the Twitters for notifications on whatever. What does this do? Reduce damage, and then eventually deal damage to me. Okay, so... So this Cursed Strike here... Do I even want to? They have no cards in their hand. This could be the Dormant Quest. If this is the Dormant Quest, I'd really like to flip it up. Yeah, Dormant Quest. So this does 3, and all their units take a nap for 3 turns. Last time this happened, I ended up not being good enough, so let's like hang tight for a hot second. I'm gonna play this here. Frenzied Vargeist is really powerful, so it doesn't do anything the turn you play it, but on its next turn, when it ticks, it does 1 damage. It removes the unit, and if it removes a unit, it gives me an extra action in the turn. My opponents played this game really well in the fact that they've been keeping cards out of their hand consistently, which has made some of my ability to disrupt their hand a lot less good. So this is going to turn here and gobble this guy up. And so normally this prevents me from deploying units and spells, but this is taking a sleepy nap time here, so I can go ahead and play this here. See which one we get. And this is exactly the one I wanted here. So this is whenever I deploy a unit, it's going to take a card out of their hand. And I have 2 more actions this turn because this ate something. So I'm going to go deploy a unit here, shoot you for 2, take a card out of your hand. And then I'm going to deploy a unit here and then shoot them for 2 and take the last card out of their hand. So they're going to have stone nothing and their stuff is still sleeping for 2 more turns here. So hopefully we should be able to pressure them out of the game by then. This is going to deal 6 points of damage, and this is going to deal 4 points of damage in lane 2 here. And then this next turn is going to get to activate and deal 3. And again, just showing like how quick we quest in this deck compared to like a non-quick quest deck. The opponent still hasn't completed any of their quests. Which is one of the reasons why we're so far ahead here. So this does 1, this does 2. I'm just gonna draw 2 here. I think I'm just gonna draw 2 here. Do they have a way to disable the quests? Nope. No, they just gotta write them out. They can disrupt me while I'm working my way up towards playing the quests out, but they can't actually impact my quests once they're active. So the way you kind of control the game is by like playing cards that like remove your opponent's cards or control the position of where they're able to play cards to slow them down on being able to complete their quests. So this turn, this will rotate off, but I believe they're dead at this point. They're going to take 2, 2, and then this is going to deal 3 here. The Dormant Quest is very good. We actually lost last game, though, through the Dormant Quest. It was not enough. Yeah, pretty much all of the blessings have a pretty large impact on the game. Because you have to do so much to work your way up to them. Look at that, we're locked for silver. I think it puts me higher into silver if I win the last one. Yeah, Pokemon Nerd, exactly. The quest system encourages people to play lots of different cards. So, like, one of the things that games like Hearthstone have an issue with, where you break things up in factions like this game does, is it can become kind of stale, where like only this one specific type of deck is ideal. But the way the quest system kind of works and the way different champions complete quests at different rates kind of rewards you for working with different types of things within the factions. I think this game will take off and big tournaments will be a thing. I have no idea. Honestly, it's probably pretty tough for a game like this to gain a ton of traction, but I'm also like I'm kind of past the point in my life where like I'm into grinding and playing like large tournaments. I do this weird thing where I play games for fun. I'm having fun playing this game, so I've been enjoying it. I'm too tired to think of anything funny. Put a meme of your choice into the queue. Thank you, Griffinson. I appreciate that. Thank you for the 15 months and welcome back. So this guy is across from a 1 here, and then I like to drop my 4 next, so I don't know what else they're going to be putting into play, so I have a little bit of choices with my other 5. Don't stress out about it. Don't stress out about it. Games are supposed to be fun. Just, you know, enjoy the ride. Play some sweet cards. That's an 8. What does this do? Increase the value of spells in the last corner by 1. Okay. And that's another 1 there. So my 5's going to go across from here. Because again, I want my 5s to be across from things that cost less from them than ideally. So you have double chickens here. What impact do the champion stats have? That's a good question. So the the cost, the one cost on the things I'm comparing here that I want to be across from, those are a deck building restraint. So when you're selecting champions for your deck, your 4 champions have to total less than 20 points. You can see here, like, my opponent has an 8 cost, a 1, and a 1, and I have 2 4s and 2 5s. So let's do damage to your opponent. Damage to your opponent when they play a card or uses a heroic act. Well, that's brutal. So I'm going to start by Frightful Striking here. And some cards like Frightful Strike explicitly care about the point cost of your champions. Again, you'll note here my opponent started with 32 health and I started with 35. And then I'm actually going to get to deploy these Mortis engines to pretty powerful effect here. So these Mortis engines, in addition to just like having an activated ability that like nugs them for 3 and gains me 3, I get to go ahead and they also have this rule line of text that says reduce damage from highlighted spells by the corner amount. So if I drop this here and then I'm going to drop this other Mortis engine here, these spells they have on these lanes are going to do 2 less. Are all the factions viable? I have decks that I've been enjoying playing in every faction. So this game is very new. Not only is the digital like 2 weeks old, but the game itself in paper released at Gen Con this year. So the game itself has only been out for like 2 months. So the honest answer is that we really don't know how well balanced things are because there isn't really a ton of data to look at if I'm being completely honest. So like, is everything competitively viable? I don't know is the answer. I have decks that I've been enjoying in every faction though. So you can see here, this did 7 plus 1 from this ability, and then minus 2. And one of the things I really like about this game is that it highlights where the bonuses are coming from when you're playing. So like, if you take this game to go play in paper, you'll kind of have a better feel for like why cards are doing what they're doing from playing in the digital. So again, it just like kind of translates nicely together. All right, so do I want to draw a card here? I could just like hammer the Mortis engine and like 3 them, but I think I want to just leave these here for now, just like making their spells less appealing. So this does 3 and gains them 2, I believe. It does damage equal to its corner and then gains them 2. That's kind of a beating. They removed my Vargeist here, which means it's not going to be able to complete my healing quest. And someone earlier had asked, like, how do you disrupt, can you disrupt the quests? And I was like, you can't disrupt the blessings. You can't disrupt the blessings once they're actually flipped over. However, there are lots of pieces of interaction to disrupt your opponent while they're working their way up to those blessings, which is like what my opponent's done here by like taking my unit out of play. Unfortunately, I'm not finding really anything else that heals or my damage action, so that's annoying. So this guy's kind of okay. It says its damage can't exceed the number across from it. So if I put this Murderous Vargeist here, this card will only deal 2 to me. Alternatively, I could put the Frenzied Vargeist here, though, and this will remove this next turn, which will give me an extra action. So I'm going to take 3 next turn, but then it's going to remove it before the last corner does anything. Do I want to just fire this off? If I hit this now, next turn I'll be able to play this, which will tick through, and then eventually I'll get to a Mordant unit. See, I think I'm just going to go ahead and use my second action to go ahead and hit them for 3 and gain 3 here. So I can put another unit down here to start ticking through to eventually complete the last quest. Because they were able to disrupt my Frenzied Vargeist on this lane 3, I'm actually going to be pretty slow at completing my quest this game. So that's actually a good question. So if you'll notice, in the corner of the engine, the symbol has squares on it, which is called a clunky corner, and cards with clunky corners only rotate explicitly when a specific action is met. So the engine's specific action that causes it to rotate is when I activate it. So otherwise it just sits there on 2. Yes, that is one of the things that makes me an appealing streamer to watch, Big Mama. So this here may seem like a strange play because this unit's already done its effect. So like, why would I want to remove it there? So while removing this isn't particularly useful to me, it will get to complete my damage quest here. And because this will still get to remove a unit, I'm going to get an extra action next turn. So this Vargeist here is going to allow me to complete my first quest and get an extra action. So the difference between an X in a corner and the empty one is an X in the corner means the card explicitly has no effect, whereas a blank corner means that the rest of the rules text on the cards still have effect. So there are some cards that have blank corners that have other rule text that applies, whereas if it has an X, the card does actually nothing while it's on the X. What does this do? Corners 1 through 3 deal damage to themselves, and corner 4 deals damage to me. That is, yeah, okay. So this does 4 to them and then does 14 to me. That's a biggin. All right, we're gonna need to heal a little bit before that one. Yes, and you can increase the value of 0, but not X. That is correct. We could theoretically win before it goes off, but I think that's pretty unlikely. So I'm going to go ahead and do this here, which flipped up my dormant quest, which is nice. I think I'm actually supposed to just hit this here to gain 3 because I really need to buffer my health total a little bit before this gets to this 14. Let's go ahead and gain 3 here. And this is hitting me for 7 next turn. So like they've got 21 in the bank here. So I really need to heal up because and this does 8 even because of this champion's ability. Woof. Their deck's sweet. And this is going to threaten to deal 5 to me now down the line. So this is going to draw me 2. And then I'm going to get to deploy a Mordant here, which will complete this quest, which is nice. We'll see. Hopefully this flips up the one that lets me hit them for 3. Yeah, perfect. This is exactly the one I wanted. So this gives me an activated ability, deal 3, gain 3, and then deal 2, gain 2. So 6-point swing. Oh yeah, it's starting to do 6. Yep, you are right, because this does extra. Thank you for the reminder. So this is going to dome me for 14 down to 5 here. And then thankfully I'm going to need to hammer this the next couple turns too. And that's annoying. So my Cursed Strike is actually going to let me control their card here a little bit. So this Cursed Strike is when we haven't used a ton yet. It rotates a highlighted unit or spell forward or backwards. So I'm going to get to go ahead and do this here to rotate the spell back, which is nice. So deal 3 to you. Rotate this backwards. It's going to take an extra turn to get to full power. And then I'm at 6. If this quest is the one that lets me deal 4 damage and take 2 cards out of their hand, I probably win the game. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this here and see if we hit that one. That's unfortunate. So that one says whenever we play a unit out, they take some damage. So next turn, I guess they're dead next turn, huh? If they don't have a good thing here. So next turn they're taking 2 down to 3. And then I can play this Murderous Vargeist, which will trigger this, and then it'll deal 2, and then I can also Cursed Strike or this. So, yeah, they need to gain some health here, or they're going to die next turn. Sweet. Okay, so they should be dead. That's pretty sweet that we beat the deal 14. So this does 2, this does 2, and then play Vargeist here, which is going to trigger this and deal 2, and then this is going to come into play and deal 2 and finish them. And then actually have Overkill with the Cursed Strike here, too. Got him. Welcome to the Silver Division, baby. Look at that. Look at that. We're so big, scary death creatures. We're so close. We're so close to my weekly mission. Gotta play seven more death cards, chat. 7 more death cards. All right, I'm gonna play one more, I think. Get that weekly mission completed. Is the utility on Cursed Strike better than the card advantage on Frightful Strike? No, I don't think so. But you can only play 3 of each card in your deck, so I have 3 of each. This deck is playing 3 of both of those. I'm thinking of you saying it's cornfield time. It really is. Do you have access to more powerful cards than the starting cards because of what does card level? Oh, so card leveling up doesn't actually have any impact on the actual gameplay that you do. It's just an extra way to reward people in game. So the cards, when they level up, they give you an in-game gold, and digital only cards don't level up. So it's basically a way to encourage people to buy paper cards to play in digital, which I have a bunch of paper cards that I've scanned in. So they played a 2, so get my 5 across from that right away. And then people tend to play their higher cost champions in the middle a lot, so I like to tend to put my 4 in the middle. Yeah, and it feels like they're pretty generous with the freebies. Like, I've been stacking up a bunch of stuff just from playing the game, just playing games to play games. So, and again here, if I look at the cost of my opponent's champion, so this is a 5, which means I don't want to put my 5 across from it because then I'm guaranteed to not be a higher point cost. So I'm going to put this here, hoping that they put something that costs less than 5 across from it. Yeah, there's a good chance that like their last thing's also going to be a 5, and then this is the only one that I'll be higher cost than, which is fine. You usually want to get at least one of these so that we can have your Frightful Strikes be active. There's the quick play rules for this game are 2 pages. I also have a short how to play video here. Yeah, I actually just hit silver 3. We're big and fancy. They're gonna turn into WotC. I mean, they're not gonna stop putting digital cards, to stop giving you digital cards with your physical. The red number is your starting health total modifier. So you'll notice here that my opponent started with 31 health, and the reason for that is they have 2 +1s and 1 -1. I start with 35 because it's the maximum. I actually have +6, but 35 is the maximum. So I'm going to go ahead and Frightful Strike here on lane 2, which, again, because my champion costs more than their champion, they have to take a card from their hand and shuffle it back in. Yeah, this is currently on Android, iOS, and paper. I thought Newmott's in their thing today. I thought Newmott was in their streamer thing today. I don't know if Durward is, but I thought I saw Newmott's name on there. Yeah, I agree, Extras. The positioning in this game is just like A+ design. This game does have some factionless cards, yep. There's a very small set of actions only that are factionless, which is nice because, like, one of the things that's annoying in Hearthstone is, like, the factionless cards in there are units, which means they tend to show up in everything. There are not many factionless cards. So again here, I kind of have this awkward start where I haven't drawn any of my units that heal me, and all of my starting quests are basically unit and then heal. So I'm just going to go ahead and take a draw 2 here, just, like, looking for units that can heal me, which we still have not found, which is unfortunate. We have 8 units in my deck that heal me. I mean, it's bad for local game stores and good for people that want cheap magic cards. Yeah, artifacts, interesting. I'm reserving judgment until I've played it myself, because I think that's the only fair thing to do. But the fact that you don't control the positioning of creeps, and you basically flip coins to decide what attacks where, seems really weird to me. So this card here is really good. It does nothing the turn they play it, but the 3 turns following it, it gives them extra actions. And remember, actions aren't just used for playing cards out. They're basically used for drawing cards here as well. So you want to prioritize removing cards like this pretty highly, because this card's basically going to draw them 3 cards. So like by taking that, I'm getting a 3-for-1 in a roundabout way. And then again, don't have any units that heal me yet, so just kind of taking a draw looking for those. And perfect, there's one of my mini units that heals me. Yeah, it is weird they didn't put the rider on the board boss. That kind of tells me that they probably have another way to another board boss in their hand, maybe, or another wolf rider. Sure, I understand that, but like at the same time, like while it is definitely bad for local game stores, like there's people that don't use local game stores, right? Like it's good for those people. Like it sucks for local game stores, but like we're moving to a global economy everywhere. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this and put it here. Deadly Chop on Riptooth does flip him, so we're gonna avoid playing things on this lane if possible. And I think I'm just drawing another card here. Really just like need more units that heal. So Rallying Cry lets them deploy 2 units from their hand. So the resource system in this game is every turn you get to do 2 things. You can either play 2 cards or draw 2 cards. Or play 1 card, draw 1 card. Wizards of the Coast is selling packs directly to Amazon, basically. They're selling booster boxes directly to Amazon, as opposed to local game stores who have to go through distributors. So basically, game stores are buying boxes at a higher price than Amazon, which means they have to price them higher. So this, when it rotates next turn, it's going to remove this guy, which is really kind of bad for me. So I think I'm going to go ahead and devour this one. So I really don't want to lose this because it's going to complete my next quest here in a couple of turns. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and just burn this Frightful Strike here to take a card out of their hand. It doesn't actually complete a quest, but it deals 3 damage and it takes a card out of their hand, which is pretty reasonable for us. Yeah, it's interesting, Mazer Mouse. You're right that it's a card deficit to do what it does, but it puts you ahead on actions, which is kind of like what the destruction faction is all about. It's like getting ahead on actions, basically. Also, on things like Savage Boar Boss here, when you play it as the first ability and then play a unit out after it, you get kind of some value that way, basically. So like here, they played it to finish an ability quest. They're gonna flip this quest up here. Ooh, I don't know that we're gonna beat that one. I don't know that we're gonna beat that one, Chad. I think we're dead. I did not have enough of my units that heal me in the top so many cards here. So this card does nothing on its first 2 corners, and then whenever one of their orc units rotates off, it turns forward, and then eventually it deals 12 to me. So they've got 3, 2, 2, and 3. So that's 5, 10, just 20, 22 sitting in play. I have 2 healing at the moment. And X means that the card doesn't do anything for that corner that it's on. It just does nothing. I don't know that I really have good lines here. These are both going to rotate off in 2 turns. Yeah, I think we're dead. Just gonna play a couple cards out here to complete my weekly mission to play death cards, but so I've played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I play 2 cards next turn, I'll actually play exactly 7 to complete my daily or my weekly mission. I got that going for us. Maybe I should have just played units last turn to get that done. Yeah, so we're gonna be dead on their next turn because these 2 orcs are gonna rotate off, which will rotate this off. I guess we're technically not dead on board. We're technically not dead on board. We're gonna take 12. We're gonna take 12 next turn, and we're at 13, but we're basically dead. Because they've got 3 cards in their hand. I assume one of their 3 cards is going to deal at least a point of damage here. If they don't have a thing that deals damage, I get to do this and gain 3 next turn. And then, like, be really close to completing these quests here, finally. Alright, I mean, that doesn't deal damage. Oh, Loudmouth does it. Right, he lets them rotate their corners forward. Fair. Oh no, we lost ladder points. I think we did exactly 200. Yay, free stuff.